Okay guys, so I am going to do a movie review of Dune. Now, full disclosure, I have seen the original Dune. I wasn't particularly impressed by it. Mostly because I felt the acting was so over the top and cheesy that, if you think, if you like it in a more, well, it's a cheesy sci-fi movie, then yeah, sure. I would say that you're right, but overall, it didn't particularly leave an impact on me. I decided to try to read the book to see if it was any different or any better for me. I ended up not finishing it. I just stopped reading it one day and never got back to it. It is so incredibly dry. I will give you that the scenes are more, the scenes from like the original was more of a developed. We get more like exposition and everything like that, dialogue. I still think it was incredibly dry. I could not, I struggling to get through the pages that I did in the book. So, but I decided to give it a chance because I actually love the director from the new movie. I love Arrival. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's incredibly beautiful, fascinating, heartbreaking. So I was gonna give him a chance. No, the newest version, I did get a lot of instances that remind me very much of Arrival, especially with like the space scenes, the spaceships, the way that they look and the way that they move remind me very much of Arrival. Other than that, it was still fairly. I just don't think that this particular movie, this universe is for me. I do like sci-fi, but this particular book just doesn't do it for me. Things I liked how when they were fighting these, I think it was the Atreides, these soldiers, they have an obvious specific fighting styles. I'm sure it pulls from like actual fighting styles. But I did love that, but we got so little of it that, it just takes up such a tiny bit in the movie. But I did appreciate that they actually put thought into the fighting style. My favorite character, I would say it's probably, can't remember her name, but she is the chick, like the environmental biologist, I think that's what she was. I don't know I can't remember what her role was, but she, she's the one who, it's like the woman who's in like both worlds. She's technically working for the Emperor, but she also is, working with the Freeman, and she's very like morally gray because she's trying not to be too one way or the other. But I did like her. That's probably my favorite character. Fortunately, the main character was played by Timothy what's his face, and honestly, I just do not jive with the actor. I just don't think he's that particularly good of an actor. Don't hate him or anything, but just his movies, when he acts, just falls flat for me for some reason. Could just be personal preference, but because he made such a big part, I just wasn't feeling it. Story-wise, it's pretty much the same thing as the book, but I just wasn't feeling it. I just don't think I like the story. So, one thing I was looking forward to, of course, it was the worms. Probably the best part of this franchise, I feel like. Maybe that's my Trimmers love coming through, but it is what it is. I was kind of worried that they were going to wait till the next movie because I knew they split into parts. I worried that they would wait to the next movie for us to get any clear look at them. But I was both satisfied and unsatisfied because we actually do get to see worm riding, but it was like 2 seconds. And so it was both satisfying and unsatisfying because we don't actually get to see them, you know, see him learning how to ride the worm, which I always, I thought it would be very exciting seeing, but I'll have to wait for the next one. And we'll probably see. I actually had some of my coworkers actually talking about this movie. I work in a library, so I think they're more up to date with like some of the media that's out. So they were talking about this movie, and man, I think it was my manager, went off because he was so unhappy with the way that they did the movie. More specifically, I guess you could say the structure and this flow is what I'm looking for. Flow in the movie, because they were so mad that they stopped it at the point they did. And that, I think they said they like it was more like drawn out, stretched out, and and obviously they're leaving action and all that to the next movie. In a way, I mean, I get it. You want to have those exciting action scenes right away. On the other hand, it reminded me very much of The Lord of the Rings. I will admit, I don't typically watch Fellowship of the Ring because it's not, heavy in battle scenes. That's one of my favorite parts, so I usually watch Two Towers or Return of the King, mostly. But I can appreciate and understand why Fellowship of the Ring was needed, because it builds up this world, introduces us to these characters, to these creatures, to the villains, so that in the next two movies we can understand why they are fighting, and we can, worry about these characters when they're in battle. So, I guess I'm kind of, that's the way I'm feeling with this movie. I understand there's not as many, fight scenes, action scenes. That's probably going to take place in the next movie. This one was setting up for, getting to know the characters, kind of getting understanding what the plot is about, kind of building anticipation for the next one. So, in a way, I can, I tend to be more lenient when it comes to that. So, the message itself of, I guess honestly, just this universe, this franchise, it's very heavy in how, we get these, the Emperor, he is very greedy, and he's going to other worlds to try to get resources, in particular spice. That's what they're going after, and they're willing to decimate this planet to do it, and honestly to kill people on that planet to get it. But I also love how it also shows just how humans are adaptable. So we get the Freemen who are able to adapt to this desert planet, especially when it comes to, trying to deal with the wildlife on that planet, so the worms. They learn how to make sure they don't attract attention to the worms, so they have adapted the way they walk to mimic, just the sounds of natural processes, so that the worms won't be attracted to to the people. And they've also adapted to prevent, evaporation of moisture in the body. They learn how to recycle their, water that is exuded from their body. So I kind of liked how that kind of looks at how adaptable humans are. So, and that was one of the other ones I was interested in. And I did notice how a lot of the Freemen were darker skinned, which would make sense. They're in a desert environment. People in a desert environment tend to have darker skin because, you're exposed to more sunlight, and you're more likely to survive in, environments with, exposure to sunlight if you have dark skin. So, I did notice that, and I think that was on purpose. people have complained about how it's very like, you know, the white savior trope, because Paul and his mother come to Freeman and they, you know, are going to be his, well, Messiah. And I mean, I won't necessarily blame them for that, to be honest, for feeling that way. That happens, you know, a lot. And I did notice a lot of, just from what I know of it, like influences of Islam in this franchise, and I've heard that before, the criticism that they take a lot of aspects of Islam for this. Whether or not I'll see the next one, it really just depends on, I'll probably watch the trailer first to see what exactly kind of the tone and probably how much fighting there is, and see if I'm into watching it. Most likely will eventually, but we'll see. Yeah, so that was my review of Dune, and if you have any thoughts on the movie, maybe you've come up with a reason for why, you know, why it's, you know, a great movie, one of the best movies of all time. If you have any thoughts, just leave down in the comments, and yeah, so if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to get notifications for all the different videos I'll be doing, and other than that, you guys have a nice day, stay safe out there, and I'll talk to you later, bye.